Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for clicking on the video. As you can see, we are going to do part 5 of the Scream Factory Collector's Editions. As I said in my past 4 videos, I don't organize them alphabetically. I go by release date. Just one of those OCD things with me. Anyways, I think in the first 2 videos I did 20 titles per video. And then I got to like 3 and 4. And my video kind of messed up on 3, so I was splicing stuff together there for 3 and 4. But this will be part 5, and we're gonna do the next 10 titles in the collector's editions. I can't really think of nothing. I mean, there's one at the very end there where Scream Factory took a little bit of a change in their practice. I probably should have noted too in my earlier videos that Scream Factory on their slipcovers used to do the blue borders on their slipcovers, and they kind of cut that out. But I'm sure you guys saw that in the video, and that is what it is. But guys, let's start it up. Let's don't ramble too much. Gonna hop into it today and get shit done. All right, guys. First up is David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. I only watched this movie once, and the first time I was ever introduced to it was, in fact, this release from Scream Factory. There's 2 different versions of this film. I mean, I guess it's just the aspect ratio is different. The tagline at the top says, "An instant classic. This is arguably David Cronenberg's masterpiece." I know everybody's got their taste in movies and they got their own opinions, but I disagree with that tagline. This movie is good. I mean, I liked it. I need to revisit it, that's for sure. Like I said, I think I watched this once when it first came out, and that's it. So I can't really spill everything I know about this movie. It was good though. It definitely had a Cronenberg feel to it. A little bizarre, but I mean, it's Cronenberg. What would you fucking expect? But as far as masterpiece, I'm more of the fan of the Cronenberg when it comes to Rabid, Shivers, and of course Videodrome. If I had to take my pick for Cronenberg films that I've seen so far, and trust me, I haven't seen them all. From as I stand now, I would say Videodrome. I think that movie is great. I wish I had that Arrow Video limited edition set, but I don't. I have the standalone release, and Criterion is doing a sale right now, and I wouldn't mind grabbing that thing for $20 because I know they have an awesome release of that. I know when you pull out the case, it's resembles the VHS tape and all that. But man, that movie's a masterpiece. But guys, if you're interested in Cronenberg's work, Dead Ringers. You do get, I mean, they got a new 2K scan of the 1/66 version. It's David Cronenberg's preferred aspect ratio. It says that right here on the back of the cover. New interviews with actors, director of photography, special effects artist, vintage interviews, behind the scenes featurette, theatrical trailer. They packed it full, that's for sure. So guys, if you're interested in some David Cronenberg, Dead Ringers, and guys, for all you guys have seen that, hit me up in the comment section. Tell me what you thought about that. Is that something I definitely need to revisit really soon? I need to put stuff to the side and go back to this one, show it a little bit more love, because I'm very honest with this, but sometimes I watch so many movies that I think Frank said this not too long ago, but you watch so much shit that only thing you could do sometimes is just remember pulling off the shelf and being like, well, it was good, or if it was bad, and you can remember some really key scenes to it, but I'm sitting here trying to think about it. I'm trying to remember the details. I don't want to bore you on that, but anyway, but yeah, definitely The Fly too as well. Fuck man, I forgot about that one. It just hit me. Yeah, fuck man, that remake of The Fly. Fuck man, David Cronenberg had it going on. Alright guys, another Cronenberg film, and I own multiple copies of this movie. I do like this movie a lot. Marilyn Burns. Anybody doesn't know, she was, I'm sorry, Marilyn Burns. Marilyn Chambers. I just looked down and was like, Marilyn Burns? Who the fuck is that? Anyway guys, should I start the video? Nah, fuck it, we're going. Marilyn Chambers. From my understanding, she used to be an adult film star. I think she was already established as an adult film star before she got to this one, but guys, that is Rabid. I recently just picked up the Arrow Video Steelbook of Rabid. I was very fortunate to find that on eBay for a really good price. I have the standalone release of rabid. Do I? I thought it did. Maybe I don't. No, I don't have that. I'm sorry, guys. I just have the Steelbook, and I have the Scream Factory release, and I'm good with that. I have the standalone release for Shivers. I want to sit here and rant for 10 more minutes about David Cronenberg. But anyway, guys, that is Rabid. This is a really good film. You know, it's Cronenberg. As soon as it starts out, it's like bizarre, weird as hell. So, anyway, guys, loaded with special features. Don't know if that's going to do you guys any justice or not with that camera. But basically, getting a new 2K scan from the negative. Commentaries with writer director Cronenberg. I mean, it's just packed full. I mean, even it used all that shit right there. That whole, they bled it out and then just wrote more on it. But that is Rabid. Here comes everybody's favorite. I know this artwork got a little bit of controversy at the start of this. Jeff Nielsen, in an interview with Jeff Nielsen from Scream Factory, said that people were a little bit disappointed by the artwork on the front because it revealed too much, especially shadowing the killer. So, I'm sure you guys already know what this is before I even show it. This is a great release. It is Black Christmas. 2-disc set, got a new 2K scan from the negative, and a shit ton of features. I need to check out that remake. Unfortunately, I haven't got around to that yet, but I'll get around to it. Produced and directed by Bob Clark. I think a lot of people... I was watching an interview, and they were going over 50 great slasher films the average horror fan has never seen. And this one was talked about as being the first ever slasher film ever. So, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm sure, especially being horror fans and people watching this channel, I'm sure you could dig a little deeper. You even know it off the top of your head that maybe this isn't, there was something beforehand. Whatever. But this movie gets a lot of love, and I love this movie. Guys, if I'm not mistaken, you can look this up, though, just to kind of verify it, but I do believe when they announced this, there was a replacement disc program. As I said this before in my other videos, you know, these things happen, and unfortunately with Scream Factory, they did have quite a few of them just because they announced so many fucking titles at once, and they try to just, you know, put them together really quick, put them out, and you know, they have this program too where they send a bunch of review copies to people. And what they'll do is they'll send them a copy of the movie. They'll get them to review it, look at the specs, the special features, make sure there's no errors. And they'll take the, there's usually a UPC back here in the back window right here, but I have the cover flipped on the inside since I have the slip cover. And they'll punch it out. And normally you know that that's a review copy that somebody had once upon a time. It's basically a promotional. It's promotional to just a review. And they send out all these free copies of these people, and I guess these fucking guys don't do their job because I always see them selling them on eBay anyway. So, don't know what that's about, but you have to look this up though, guys. I'm sure you can go to Blu-ray.com, maybe look in the forum section, but there was a replacement disc for this. I just can't remember the error that was the what was the correction for the replacement disc program. Next up, guys, watched this one not too long ago, and it was my first time watching it. A good buddy of mine recommended this one, and he was infatuated by this movie, and he even got the poster with it and all that good stuff. But guys, that is Dreamscape. This is definitely out there. I love the I think it's he's basically like a psychic, and there's a scene in this movie where the lead actor in here, he's like on a train with the devil. I'll never forget that shit. It's bizarre and it's crazy as hell. I love it though. Directed by Joseph Rubin, and of course none other than Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid's been on a lot of shit. I love a lot of his movies. Was I watching? Just watching it the other day. For the zillionth time, Legion. Dennis Quaid's fucking great. Love him. All right, next up, guys. And these, unfortunately, I think those are all still in print and good to go. These next two, they recently just lost the sub-license to these, so they're not carrying them anymore. That is Poltergeist 2. I'm sure everybody's seen this film. I know everybody's seen the first Poltergeist. There's some great special effects in this film. I love it. It's a great film. Was fortunate enough to pre-order these in time. I think it was January 2017. I got both the posters for Poltergeist 2 and 3. But new 2K scan of the Inner Positive, a shit ton of special features. If you had to ask me, of course, I love the first Poltergeist. Anybody who wants to bitch about who really directed that film, whether it was Steven Spielberg or Tobe Hooper, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I've read so many different interviews and even cast interviews, people who worked on the set, and nobody's really verifying that story. A lot of people are trying to say that Tobe Hooper just kind of sat on the sidelines while Steven Spielberg took over the directing job. I don't know if none of that shit's true, but we're not going to rant on it too long. But anyway, guys, that's Poltergeist 2. I'm sure everybody's seen that. This is a great film, great artwork on the front right there. If you don't have that and you do want to get it, just be careful what you pay for it on eBay. Fucking scalpers, man. Everybody knows that print's now out of print. And as soon as they see those letters OOP and it's no longer in distribution, it's okay to charge $500 for it. I don't charge that much, but I'm just saying, it gets fucking ridiculous. Next up, guys, as I said, that's Poltergeist 3. This one's alright. I know a lot of people dig the hell out of this movie, and I think just because of its bizarreness and its cheesiness, I think a lot of people love it to death, but it's just alright to me. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. And that artwork's fucking awesome. I know there was a little controversy about that artwork when it first came out, because I'm sure everybody knows the story of the little girl right there, especially the health problems that were going on at the time. And she definitely had an early death. Don't want to go into that too much, so you guys want to look that up, though, and I'm sure the only thing you got to do is fucking Google it, and it'll tell you more than you want to know. So next up, guys, this is, I always love it when Scream Factory does Stephen King releases. I grew up, especially I think I started like in 2nd, 3rd grade reading Stephen King books and getting into his books, and it wasn't long after that I watched first Pet Sematary and Stephen King's 1990 It, and I was fucking sold. I was watching everything I could get my hands on that was Stephen King related. And thankfully, I had a mom, too, that was a very avid reader. And even though those are probably movies and books that are a very young person, probably a little too young to be getting into, but my mom supported it, and that's probably why I'm such a fucking horror hound and just always loved that genre. Sorry, guys, the throat's a little dry today. But this is none other than Firestarter. Unfortunately, I was really hoping that whenever they announced this, the first thing I thought of was, good luck getting Drew Barrymore to do a fucking interview on here. Because I just don't think she would have done it. And she didn't do it. This is a 2K scan of the Inner Positive. You get some new commentaries with director Mark Lester. Was Mark Lester the guy who did Class of 1984? Shit, I have to look back at that. Guys, hit me up in the comment section. Tell me if Mark Lester was the guy who did Class of 1984. Because I remember... Shit. Anyway. My brain just shut off. Too many things going on at once. Anyway, guys. It's got a good bit of special features on it, though. You can see right there in that red box. I do got the poster for this one. I love the hell out of this movie. I kind of have to be in the mood for it, though, now, to be honest with you. When I was, a lot younger, though, I mean, I could just fucking watch this at a whim and it'd be alright, but kind of have to be in a little bit of a mood for that movie. Alright, guys, I remember when they announced these next two items, I was kind of like, really? Like, Scream Factory's gonna do those? Seems like that would be like, Shout Factory that put them out. But there's a few titles in these, as we got to them before, like there was Mad Max, Garbage Pail Kids, even Escape from New York, but that one to me is kind of like, what's a Carpenter film? And Scream Factory's fucking put out a ton of them, so that's okay. Like, that gets a pass. But I love the next two movies, though. I know a lot of people hate the third one. But, of course, the first one's like the Holy Grail. But anyway, guys, this is RoboCop 2. And don't want to bore you to death, but when I was a little kid, my cousin took me to the drive-in. This is my first time ever going to a drive-in. I was a really little kid. Well, what they do is they wouldn't take. Sometimes they would play new movies that were coming out that weekend, but they'd also go back and they would play movies that had recently come out, but they would, only charge the tickets like half price, or they do like dollar night drive-in. It was something like that. But my cousin took me to the drive-in to watch this movie, and I was freaked the fuck out. But blew my mind. And believe it or not, I think the double feature that night, guys, they usually played the first movie for all the kids who showed up. And the first movie was Walt Disney's Jungle Book. And the second movie was RoboCop 2. I'll never forget that shit. It was bizarre. I lived in South Carolina at the time, and thinking back of that now, I'm like, who the fuck was in charge of pairing those movies together? It's insane. But I'm sure there was a lot of little kids there that night being happy just, watching fucking Jungle Book, even though they probably had the VHS tape at home. They were watching it on the big silver screen, fucking at the drive-in. But RoboCop 2 stole the show that night from me. I was already a little bit more developed at that point, and even though I was a little kid. Alright, guys, next up is RoboCop 3. I got to see this movie a little later in life. I know a lot of people fucking dislike this movie. I think it's everybody's weakest. Everybody says this is the weakest film in that trilogy. And then we got that remake, and I think a lot of people might change their minds a little bit about that. Well, whether you want to call that a remake or a reimagine, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But anyway, guys, it's RoboCop 3. Both of these got special features on them. RoboCop 2 has a new 2K scan of the Interpositive. A lot of new stuff, and RoboCop 3 has a lot of new stuff on it. New interviews. Shit, man. I just saw Fred Decker's name right there. Screenplay by Frank Miller and Fred Decker. We know who those guys are. Shit. Those are big names right there, especially in the B-movie world of horror, that's for sure. Alright, guys. Here's where a little bit of a change comes in at. And I've got to ask this question before in Facebook groups. And I remember at one point, I was kind of really questioned on it because they just didn't believe me, and I kind of had to prove it, so I had to take out some of the posters. But, like I said, I don't organize these alphabetically. I do them by release date. So, as we went from the very start, from part 1 all the way to part 5 now, all the way up until, we got even after RoboCop 3, every Screen Factory poster was always folded whenever they sent you the movie. They'd put the movie with the slipcover in it. They'd fold the poster in, 4 ways. We call that hamburger style. But anyways, they fold that shit. They put it in a mailer to you. They send it to you, and you got your package. This next title is where it kind of changed the game. Screen Factory had got a lot of. There's a good bit of collectors out there who was like, "Why the fuck are y'all folding your posters? Like, why don't you start rolling them, putting them in tubes or something?" And we love this artwork. We want to frame it. We don't want to see these big ass creases in them and everything. And this is where they finally took those comments to heart, and they made it happen. But guys, this was their first ever roll poster. I'm fortunate enough to have it hanging in there in the living room. It is one of my favorite anthologies. This film really does hold up. I'm holding it in my hands looking at it right now. I'm like, fuck, I should watch this when I turn this video off. And I probably will. But anyway, guys, we're almost at the 20-minute mark, so we'll keep this going. But first ever roll poster at Screen Factory put out. Tales from the Hood. This is a great release when they announced this. At that point, there was an existing Blu-ray, but that bitch was out of print, and it sold for like $50, $50-$60 sometimes. I even came close at one point pulling a trigger on one. Thankfully, I did have a DVD of this. It was not good quality at all. To be honest with you, I think that shit was about bootleg as it got. But had to deal with what I had to deal with at the time because this didn't exist. But they put this out though, and a lot of people lost their shit. A lot of people love this movie, and it's a heavy hitter, that's for sure. Guys, if you're not familiar with this fan, which I'm sure you are, everybody who's watching this channel, but if you've never seen this and you like anthologies, that's the movie right there to go for. It's fucking great. Shit, man. Clarence Williams III, that guy's a fucking psychopath. I mean, he just looks flat out fucking crazy throughout this whole movie as he's telling the stories and shit. But there's nothing to skip out on though, guys. That's a phenomenal fucking movie. But I'll show that up there a little bit close, and it looks great. Looks great on Blu-ray. Hoping this can do some justice for you guys. But got new making of Tales from the Hood, featuring interviews with co-writer, director, producer, actors. audio commentaries, vintage featurettes, theatrical trailer, TV spots. They got a good bit of stuff on that disc. Anyway, guys, that was, shit, I'm trying to think. I'm assuming that would be, what we do? 20, 40, 50, 60. So this is 61 through 70, guys. And that is, well, if I hold them up right for you. There you go, guys. Hopefully that popped up for you. Guys, if you're stuck around with me this long, a little over the 20-minute mark now, I'm going to stop making these videos for 30, 40 minutes, just going over a couple titles. But, guys, if you stuck around me this long, no, thank you so much. You know, I love you guys. Love the hell out of you. But, guys, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. I've been trying to put up videos every day. I've been going pretty good so far. I've been trying to put at least a couple every day just to keep the channel. I just want to put a lot of content on there just so I can kind of establish myself a little bit on this format. But guys, please feel free to hit me up in the comment section. You know, as always, if you have one of these releases, you love it, there's a special feature in there that, you know, you just loved it. You found out some shit about that film that you didn't even know about. Hit me up in the comment section. Let's talk about it. And as always, if you had one of these, if you got one of these movies right here, you bought it and you just flat out fucking hated it. Like, just hated the scan, looked like shit, sounded like shit, the features wasn't enough for you, you paid too much for it, hit me up, let's talk about it. But guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I will try to do, the next 10 and see if I can get that shot real quick. But guys, thank you so much, and as always, stay safe and be careful.